Friends, Pastor Chuck Blair. Great to have you joining us this morning for 10 minutes of morning calm. And today, I say with great joy, snow day. We're looking at big snow event here in the Northeast. I realize we probably have people watching in California are thinking, what are you guys talking about? But we have a big snow event coming, sort of excited about that. This sort of brings out the little kid, I think, in a lot of people, as well as, a little nervousness as well. So anyhow, I want to talk a bit about when we come into life, and there's a snow day event and so what's just a little practice we can kind of take with us? And there's a bunch. And yesterday I thought was a great example of just a little sort of timeless spiritual practice we can look at. We live in clearly tumultuous times, and we can have any position we want, right or left, on the politics. And I think regardless whether you're on the right or the left, hopefully you would agree with me, these are tumultuous times. And the idea that they're going to find peace, calm, tranquility anytime soon are between zero and none. We are just in for quite a ride, I think, over the next few years, some of which will be pretty scary and pretty intimidating. So as we do that, what can we do? And we were talking about that yesterday on Sermon Writing Team. And again, Sermon Writing Team has people from all across the political spectrum. And so because we're not trying to be just one thing per se. I mean, we all have our opinions, but we really want to be a church that's outside of the political realm as best as possible. And we're talking about it, and we're talking about all the tensions that are around and all these things swirling around and how hard it is and how much it can breed cynicism. And boy, that was what we're really talking about with cynicism. We mentioned a little bit yesterday, and how cynics see the world and how it's really, really difficult to kind of move forward in that kind of environment. And when we're dealing with tumultuous times, there's part of it that just kind of gets us to throw up our hands and just like, well, forget it and forget it all. But there are things that we can do. We're oftentimes not in a position to address global issues. I think we are in a time where we can clearly do what God is calling us to do at a very individual level. And so one basic spiritual concept that we talked about was, what do you do with all this tumultuous, everything up in the air, a million balls flying all over the place, anxiety, anger, lots of stuff. And what one person said I thought was so good was just be committed to keeping your word. That's pretty good. Be committed to keeping your word. That simple. We go through times again where it just feels like so overwhelming. I know for me, like I wonder all the times what is my role, because I have very strong opinions, and I really do at the same time. I speak out on things on occasion, and at the same time I try to be very open. Try to as best we can focus on third way. It's really hard to do that a lot of the time, frankly, and yet, when we get stuck, when we get like, what can I do here? What's my action? Come back to be committed to keeping your word. That's simple. And I think that is just a spiritual principle that's so important, and it gets us grounded. Here's a line from the book, Secrets of Heaven, 933, that I liked. It's talking about when we feel disconnected. The reason for the disconnection is that a heavenly focus and a bodily focus can never coexist in us. When our bodily desires, in other words, our natural here, desires and urges of our will stop agitating and fall quiet, think of that as sort of anxiety. The Lord works through our inner self, and we then come into faith and charity. So it's this beautiful idea that we get all agitated on the surface. We get all agitated on the surface, and that's the natural part of our brain. And again, are there things to be agitated about? Clearly. Are there things that we really need to speak truth to? Absolutely. Does not mean we don't do that, but it means we don't live in the agitation. We understand the agitation. We see the agitation. We're just not going to live there. And again, that may mean on occasion we're called to say things because stuff is just way out of bounds. We can say things, but then it's about allowing that agitation. We don't live there. We will start to live in a quieter place. And this is the beauty of this kind of passage. When we live in that quieter place, what do we find? We find God and peace there. And that comes right back to this idea of commitment. I mean, what more simple way can you put it than just be committed to keeping your word? If you say you're going to do something over the next couple of days, do your darn best to do it. And if you end up not being able to do it, do your darn best to just tell the person, hey, I thought I could do this and I can't. Just that basic spiritual practice helps to take us out of the anxiety, because all this stuff I can't control. It helps to get us more clear about, oh, all this stuff I do control. It is important as well, somebody brought up on sermon writing team, that we also have this call to the better angels of our nature. And that may well call us to say things, that may well call us to do things. And I think that's incredibly, incredibly important. People, one of the ones for me as a pastor that was, life changing to hear was, you hear a lot about, you want to keep religion and politics totally separate. And this person said, "Well, thank goodness Martin Luther King didn't." And amen to that, right? Like, there are times, and there's also times where, when we're feeling ourselves a little disempowered, just coming back to the simple truths and then building from there. Simple truths, build from there. One of the simple truths we have is be committed to keeping your word this weekend. So that's my thought for today, friends. It's not big and insightful, but I think it's really helpful. It was kind of funny in sermon writing team, right? All this talk and all this conversations, there always is. It's a wonderful group of people. And then it just comes down to these moments of like, oh, yeah, that's what we're here to talk about today. So hope that makes sense. Hope that gives you a little insight into your weekend ahead. And what we're going to do now, friends, is we're going to shift gears. And as we shift gears here at New Church Live, we always come in for a gentle landing. We have a beautiful prayer bell, and we do a little meditation. We do a little prayer. We do a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to our friends who are joining us on Facebook today. So please join me, friends. Get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little quick shout out here, see if we can hop on and say hi to folks. Just give it a quick second. See if this loads rapidly enough, which sometimes it does and sometimes it does not. And it looks like it does not today. So I will add a little note to folks who've commented. Wishing you all the very best, friends. God bless. Enjoy the snow. Take care. Bye-bye.